Okay, good evening, guys. I hope I'm audible. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ashritha. I'm a technical trainer serving amazing 2 years of journey with byteXL. Okay, so today we will be discussing on strings concept. I hope everyone are aware about that. So let's learn strings concept with a unique touch. Okay. So if you have any kind of disturbance while taking the session, you can put your messages in the chat box. Right? Yeah. So now, basically, what is a string? So what is a string? So string is a collection of characters, right? Characters. So in strings, again, we are having one-dimensional, two-dimensional strings. So first, we'll see basic types of strings, right? So before going to learn strings concept, first we should know escape characters, right? So whenever, how do we represent a string? Means using literals. So here we can see double quotes, right? So we call them as literals. So strings are represented using literals. So now if I run the code, execute the code. So what will be my output? Hello, good. And one more interesting fact is that, so as we know, we are having certain escape characters. Whenever we want to print a string in two different lines, we will be using the escape character /. So it is used to print the given string in two different lines. So till hello, we will be able to print in one single line. And after new line, we are going to print the word in another line. Right? And now, so what is the alternative representation of a new line? Can anyone of you say that? So instead of new line, we can also write, so I'll directly show you that. X. So now if I run my code now, am I getting in two different lines or not? Yes. So either we can write new line escape characters, or else we can write slash and small x capital A, right? Even this. So both represent the same. So what do I do? So here I'm writing hell, new line escape character, O, again the alternative representation of a new line character, and followed by the word. So now here, how do we get the output? Hell, O, word. Because here till hell, it is a string. So after printing till hell, the compiler encounters with a new line escape character. So the compiler will go to the new line. After that, it will print O. Once it prints O, again it encounters with another escape character, that is new line. This is alternative representation of new line, right? So again it will go to the new line once again. And then it will print the string word. So we are going to get the output in 3 different lines. So after this, next one. Hello, step character B, backslash B and word. So now can you guys guess what will be the output in this kind of situation? So if I'm using this escape character right now here, so what will be the output for this? Yeah. So here, if we run the code, see hello world. Instead of hello world, what we are going to get? Hello world. So here directly I'm going to write hello space world. Right? So here I will use an escape character. So as I'm writing 2 different printf statements, though if you can see here I'm writing 2 different printf statements. But the 2 strings are printing in the same line. They are not going to get printed in the 2 different lines. Now I will use this escape character new line. So we doesn't have any restriction that it has to be used only at a certain point of time. Means it has to be used at the starting of the string or else in between the string. No, we can use it wherever we want. So here right now I'm going to use it at the end of the string. So now, hello world, it will go to the new line as the compiler encounters with new line escape character, and now here, hello. As we are writing here /b means it is considered as backspace. So internally what will happen? Hello O will be printed as the compiler encounters with /b. Again it will go back. Again it will print world. So from world it is going to print. So that is the reason here we are going to get hello world. What actually has to be printed? Hello world. Right? So next one. If I want to print, so here if I want to give a single space, I am directly specifying single space. If I want to give more than one space, a tab space. Tab space means what? Collection of 4 spaces or 6 spaces or 8 spaces according to the system type. So here, if I want to print more than one space in a given string, then I will go with the escape character tab space. So hello. So how do we represent that? /b word. So again, here I'm going to use new lines. This time it is going to print in a different line. Right? So as you can see here, initially first printf statement, it is going to print hello world in first line. As the compiler encounters with a new line, it will go to the new line. And second printf statement, hello will be printed. And as there is a backspace escape character, it will go back and it will print hello world. After that, again it is encountering with new line escape character. So again the compiler will go to the new line, and here hello tab space. You can observe the difference. Regularly we are giving here single space, but here we are getting more than one space gap word. Right? And next one is, again I'm using hello. But vertical tab space. Can you observe the difference over here? Hello word. Again, if I'm going to write same thing here, notice I guess you can understand the differences whenever we are using vertical cap space /v escape character, right? So if I use here a new line escape sequence, first hello, after that vertically it will go down, and here from below that it will start word, again from that again hi. If I'm giving more than right, so after that particular sentence, below that vertically it is going down. And there is one more escape character. If you observe here, so whenever we are using /a here, it will give a beep sound. Whenever we are using /a, it will give us a beep sound. Okay. So here, now you may hear or you may not hear. Means actually you will get once you try to put. Can you hear that? Slide. 1 second. Right? So whenever we are using /a, okay, so we will get a beep sound. Next. So here, here I'm writing so here written over. So whenever we are writing /r, so first you observe the output, then I'll explain. It will be easy for you to understand. Can you see here? So whatever the number of characters, second string, whatever is there after this escape character, after this /r means written over, it returns. So after whatever the escape character we are having here right now, right? So it will return over. So it will be replaced in this place. It returns the second string, means it replaces the second string with the first string. Something like this. So that is the reason instead of welcome, you are going to get A, B, C, D, E, F, and rest of the string will be printed as it is. So I guess till here everyone are clear. Okay, so now, so yeah. So these are the escape characters. So before going to learn strings concepts, so these are the escape sequences that we have to learn, right? So now one more thing. So before going to start strings, one more important thing is that, so I will take a question, okay? So let's take a test case here. Okay, so initially input we will give as 10. In the next line, okay, in next line, I want to give my input as 8. And my output has to be 10 space 8. So how can we do this? If I have to take an integer input and character input. So how do we do that is the next question. So generally what do we think? Printf. So we will be taking two variables, right, in general. So I will take an in order to take and take the input 10 means in order to take an integer input, I am going to declare an integer variable. At the same time, in order to take a character input, here I will be declaring a character variable. So usually what do we do? So scanf. So initially as I'm taking here a character as the means an integer as the input. So according to the test cases, my first input has to be an integer. So here I'm going to use format specify id, and after that my input has to be a character, right? So here I'm going to use format specify c. So here I will be giving address of a comma address of ch. So now if I print this in a new line, here a comma ch. So according to our expectation, what has to happen first? It has to take an integer and followed by a character, right? So here I'm giving 10. Is that is taking my second input here? Is that is taking a character input here? No. Okay, we'll do one more thing. So I'll write individually. Okay. Then will it work? No. Still will it work? No. Just a second. So are we getting our expected output? No. Right? So 1 second, guys. So here comes the concept of percentile asterisk C. So wait a second. Okay, I'll tell you why it's happening like that. So here, if I'm taking hello world. Just a second. Okay, fine, here it is. I don't know what's happening with this. Just a second, guys. Can you see this? Just a second. I think it's a bit slow. Fine. Yeah. So are we getting here hello world? Yeah, absolutely. So now the important point that we have to remember here is every string, it will always end with null character. So here what actually happens, here I'm giving slash 0. So am I getting world here? No. Are we getting world over here? No. It is going to print only hello. But if I remove my escape character null slash 0, then what do I get? I'll get my output as hello world, right? And second point is that whenever, if I have to represent a new line, if I have to represent a new line, if I have to make a compiler to understand it is a new line, I will use an escape character slash n, right? I will use an escape character, new line escape character I will be using. But initially in this program, if you observe here, okay. So first, initially what we are going to do, we are going to give the input and we are going to enter. Enter means what? It is a new line, right? Getting my point? Whenever I'm giving 10 as the input, so here initially what do? We will give 10. So as we are, first 10 means it is an integer. So after that I'm giving an enter. I'm pressing the button enter means it is going to the new line. So at runtime means it, new line is an escape character, right? So this escape character is being initialized to this ch. This escape character is going to get initialized. Okay, so instead of giving new line, for suppose if I give my input, okay, stop. Instead of giving like this, for suppose if I'm giving 10, okay. So in this case, what will happen? So as I've used here format specifier t, so now I'm getting its ASCII value 97. If I use format specifier c, now I will get 10a. I'm going to get 10 space a. Okay, but if I give the input 10 enter, so enter means what actually happening? Enter is nothing but a new line. So indirectly, without our knowledge, we are giving a character called new line. So that is the reason whenever you enter, it is not going to take the second input, second character input. So to overcome that, so what has to happen here? Enter. So here what actually has to happen? So the compiler has to read the character, but it has to ignore. But it has to be read and it should be ignored. Right? So for that reason, what do we use? We will use percentile asterisk. So here, so what do I do before this? After scanf, what do I do? Percentile asterisk C. Because after 10, I want to give the input new line at runtime. But the thing is that the compiler should not read it and it should not initialize that to the CH variable. Right? For that reason, here I'm going to use percentile asterisk C. Now, if I run the code, so 10, enter A. So are we getting here? So what actually happening whenever we are going to use percentile asterisk C? So it will read, but it will not be stored in the memory. Right? So if we doesn't use this thing, so what will happen here? 10, if I'm giving enter, so it will be considered as one of the escape character, right? So escape, it is also one of the character, right? So that escape character will be stored in ch and it will only print, it will not take the third input, second input. Whenever we are going to use percentile asterisk c, so it will read the character and it will ignore. So 10, next line. So this is one of the important point that we have to know before going to the strings part, right? And next, now if I want to take multiple strings, so ch1, ch2, ch3, ch4. So can we do that? If I want to take multiple characters as the input, not strings, I'm sorry. So if I want to take multiple characters as the input, right? So basic, for suppose if we that to into some different lines, okay, I will take one more test case. Okay, so here I'll take one more test case, something like this. As I've used here integer, so input will be like 10, and in new line it has to take a, b, c, okay, 4 we have used now, 4, and output has to be something like this. So 10, A, B, C, D, E. So this is how my input has to be. Let's assume, right? So in that situation, how do we do? If we write continuously, format specifier C, if that is going to accept? No, only 2. See here, have a look over this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 2, 4, right? So here I'll take CH1. At present, I'm going to take all the one. One, two, three, 4. Right? Now, yeah. So now will it work accordingly? So 10, A, B. How many is that is taking? Only 2. So, but how many are expected to be printed in the output? How many are expected? 4, right? But how many we are going to get in the output? Only 3. I guess everyone have understood the drawback. If we write directly, what is the drawback? I guess everyone have understood. Right. So how do we overcome this? I have to take all the characters as the input, right? I have to take all the characters as the input, irrespective. Okay. So in that case, what I can use? I can use here the format specifier percentile asterisk C. So whenever, so first initially what has to happen after 10. So what do we do? After 10, we will go for a new line. So for this, in order to ignore this new line, what do I do? So in order to ignore this new line, we will be using 1 percentile asterisk C. So once it go to the new line, so again we will give A. A input has to be taken. After that A, again I will give one more new line. Means again I have to enter according to the test case. So again it has to be ignored. So one more percentile asterisk C. After that again B. So again I will enter into the new line. So in order to ignore that new line, again one more percentile C. Right? So again C. So I will give the input C. After taking the input C, again I will go to the new line. So again it has to be ignored. So like this, it has to be done right. So first, initially what do I do? First, after 10, I will enter. So that new line should be taken as the input, but it should not be stored in the memory. So for that, I will use percentile asterisk C. Right? After that, A will be stored in first format specifier. So through this. But after A, again we are going to enter new line. So it should be ignored. So here I will use percentile asterisk C. So after giving the input E, Again new line. Again B has to be considered. After B, again we will give a new line. So it has to be ignored. So A, B, and this is C, right? So here, yeah, A, B, C. This is for D. This is for E. Right? Now I will run the code. So 10, A, B, C, D. Okay, as I've written only for four variables, it will be considering only four. I guess everyone understood how this format specify personal asterisk C is working. Now we will start with the strings. Okay, so these are the basic things that we need to understand. And when it comes to integers also, we can manipulate like that. So if I'm having, so according to my test case, so let's assume here I'll take one more input. So I'll take one more test case here. I want to write in this way, something like this. Okay, test case first. So input I want to give 10 and 20. So but my output has to be something like this. Only 20. So first integer has to be ignored. Second integer has to be considered, and I have to use only single variable. So is that possible? Yeah. So if I want to ignore a character, I will be using format specifier asterisk C. If I want to ignore an integer, okay, then I will be using percentile asterisk D, percentile D, right? Address of A. Now if I print, okay. So now if I print a value here, what will be my outcome in this case? 10, 20. So what is my output? As I expected, 20. Right? So that's 10, 20. So what is my expected output? 20. So but suppose if I want to give the same input, okay? But the thing is that instead of 20, I want to print, means two values has to be given as the input. Only first value has to be printed as the output. For let's assume that is my test case. That is my requirement. So what do I do? So instead of percentage, so first value has to be considered. First 10 has to be considered, but 20 has to be ignored. It should be read, but it has to be ignored. So if that is the case, for second time, I will use format specifier. Now what will be the output set? 10 space 20. So in this case, 10 is going to be the output. I hope I'm clear with this point. Just a second. Yeah, I guess I'm clear with this. And let's go with the next concept. Okay. And if for same thing will be repeated, yeah, even same thing will be repeated even for float. So if it is for float, if you want to do, so how do you represent? So there percentile asterisk f, right? If it is a character, percentile asterisk c. If it is a integer, percentile asterisk d. So on like that. So according to the data type, format specifiers, we will be using that. So in basically percentile asterisk means what? It will read and it will ignore. It will read the data, at the same time it is going to ignore the data. So this is what will happen. Okay, so next one. So now we'll start actual concept of strings. Okay, as most of you know, so if I'm taking an integer array, right, how do we initialize? Right, so this is how we are going to initialize an integer array. So here at compile time, you may specify the size of the array, or else you may not specify the size of the array. In compile time, it is optional, as we know. Similarly, we can also declare character array. So as we know, the identifiers cannot be repeated. So here I'm taking ARI, or else we will take string one. It will be easy to remember. So whenever I want to initialize set of characters, I have to initialize using single quotes. Okay. If it is a string, then we will be using literals, that is nothing but double quotes. If it is a character, then we will be initializing using single quotes. Right. So A, here it is going to be B, C, D, right? So now, how do we print an array? If I want to print an array, so I equals to 0, I less than size of array, right? Size of int. Can I print an array element in this way? So array of I. So how do we access an array? Using an index value, right? I would like to give some space. 3D I'm writing over here. So am I able to get all the elements? 5 elements. So what is the size of an array here? So 5 elements. If each integer, let's assume size of an integer is 4 bytes. Okay, single integer size of an integer is, what is that? 4 bytes. Then how many elements do we have? 5. So 5 into 4, 20 bytes. Right? Total number of elements are, total size will be 20 bytes. So if I want to find the total number of elements, what do I do? 20 by 4. I'm going to get 5. Total array size by individual array size, we are going to get the number of elements. Right? Same thing, will you apply here? No. So using for loop, we will iterate in this way, right? Similarly, if I want to print characters, so I can here use into 0, 5. Okay. Directly writing I plus plus. So before going to explain through formula part, what is null character, that some points are there. After discussion, directly will write. Okay. So here we will write printf. So str of I. Just a second. Yeah, here str1 I have taken. So did we get our output ABC, right? So directly we can print like that, or else we can also use format specified as, and we can print directly. Okay, in terms of the string. Now, so if I'm going to take a string here, 2 ways we can initialize character. 2, so format specified string 2. So what will be my output? So in 2 ways we can initialize, using literals or else character by character. So we will call it as a character array generally while calling, okay, and we call it in terms of a string as we are initializing using literals. So if I'm going to keep 2 hello world, 1 it is going to be A B C D E. So do we have any difference between them? if I'm going to use what is the length of the string? What is the length of the string? So how many characters do we have in string 1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what do we expect? 5 characters here, right? And in hello world, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11. Here also we'll make it as, it will be easy. He held it. We'll make it. So in both the cases we are having 5 only, right? So first ABCD and hello. We are going to get 2 different strings as the output. But are they saying what is the length of the string that we are expecting? So in order to find out the length of the string, we have to include our string library string.h. Okay. And now if I write printf %d string length of So are we getting any uniqueness? No. But the difference where you can find is whenever you're trying to find out the size of. So here, same thing we'll write. Format specifier d, format specifier d. Okay. String length, font size. Size of. So remember that there should not be given any spaces here. So size of string 1 and size of string 2. Now if you observe the difference here, can you observe the difference here? I'm getting 5 and 6. So the difference between a character array and a normal string is that whenever you are initializing any string using literals, compiler by default at the end of the string, it will consider a null character. Okay, it will consider a null character because always a string will terminate with null character. A string will always, it will terminate with a null character. Clear? But when it comes to here, in this, okay, it will take exactly how many characters. Whenever you are initializing any string in terms of a character array, character by character, if you are initializing the number of characters which you are initializing, only to that many number of characters memory will be allocated. If you are initializing in this way, in terms of a string, always one extra memory means because a string will always end with the null character, one extra memory will be allocated to that. So that is the reason here we are going to get 5 and 6. For this string 1, we are going to get 5 and string 2, we are going to get as 6. Okay. So now, so if I want to print without using format specifier, if I want to print character by character using for loop or something like this, can I do that? Yes. So here I can use I less than. Size of also we can use because it defines number of characters. Size of str1. Printf %c from string 1 now. Right, if you are giving here, stick to here in this case. Here I have to change that to yeah. Hello. Clear? Or else, as we know, as a string will always end with a null character, right? I can write in another way also. Either I can write in this way, or else using instead in this condition, you can also write I less than string length of that particular string, whatever it might be. Either you can write your condition in this way, or else what is the other way you can write if you want to print character by character, I equals to 0, string 2 of I until it reaches the null character, because always a string always will end with a null character, right? So using null also we can initialize. So these are the different ways, right? So I'll just comment this because or else like I'll go to a new line here. Now if I run the code first, hello will be printed. After that, a new line hello is going to be printed. Done. So these are the different ways. Instead of size of, if you want, but you cannot use the size of all the times, because whenever you are defining size of as 100, at that kind of situation you cannot use size of. Okay, only when you are initializing directly without specifying the size to an array, in that kind of situation. I'm sorry, here if you are specifying size as 100, in that kind of situation you cannot use size of. Okay, if you are directly initializing the characters to the string, or else directly a string, okay, in that kind of situation only you can use, or else you can also write directly string length of, this is another, right? Next part. So if I want to find out the length of the string, if I want to find the length of the string without using string handling function, let's assume. So here I'm taking character array, okay, some 100 as the size. So scanner. So as we know, we are giving a runtime input format specifier s. So if I want to give the runtime input, so I will be using format specifier. So comma AR. Enter. If I want to print the length of the string, okay, here comes without using any loops or without using loop, without using string handling function, in order of 1. Okay, if you are taking the time complexity in order of 1, and then you want to print, in that kind of situation we will be using format specifier n. So yeah, I so percentile s, so right. So I'm going to do hello. Can you see? So hello length is 5. So if I'm going to give one more input, something like byteXL, what is the length of byteXL? 6. Am I using any string handling function? No. Am I using any loop here, for loop? No. But here I'm able to get it directly, right, using format specifier n. And here, but there is a drawback. Not drawback. The thing is that if I want to take a sentence as an input, using this I can't, right? So hello world, hi, something like this I've given. So is that is taking after encountering with space? No. So whenever this string encounters, the compiler encounters with the space, it considers it as a null character. And then what will happen? It will not read the characters which are present after the space. So to make the compiler to read, what do we use? We will use subscripts. Percentile n. Right now, so other than, so what is the meaning of this means? New line means, so what is the meaning of this? Other than new line, whatever the input you are giving, other than new line, whatever the input you are giving, it will take. Means whatever the character input you are giving, that other than new line, everything it will accept. If you are giving the new line as the input, it will ignore. It is not going to take. So that will happen here. So here, how right? But suppose instead of this, if I'm keeping full stop, so what will happen? Other than full stop, it will take any input. Even if I give multiple lines, right? And if I give 1,000 lines, it will take other than full stop. So here, hello, hi, how are you? Me, I know your name. Something like this. Are you enjoying the class? So something like this. So I'm writing some stuff here randomly. Here, see, I think everyone could observe here. So I'm writing multiple lines, still it is accepting. Now if I'm giving a full stop, so I'm getting my output as it is, apart from this full stop. So I guess everyone understood. It acts as an XOR, other than new line, other than full stop. Clear? Other than full stop, it will take. Other than new line, it will take. Now, for suppose if I want to take only alphabets, if I doesn't want to take, okay. So I will write one more test case over here. Okay. So what is that? So in this, in such a way, I want to print in such a way that, so if I am giving, okay, small letters, it is fine. But if I'm giving any capital, it should not take that input. It should consider input till there only. So what has to happen? Only this part has to be printed over here. Only small letters. I don't want to print the capital letters. And this is test case 1 I'll consider, and test case 2. In this only, if I'm giving, for suppose if I'm giving any number, oh, I will take my test case 2. So instead of here I will give some numbers and again small letters. Still, it should not consider. Whenever it is encountering with any number, it should not consider the, means it should not print from there. And yeah, one more test case will take, that is something like this. If I'm going to give any symbol over here, so what has to happen? It should not print that. Only small letters. So I think I'm clear with my question. So if I'm giving any input, it should take only, it should print only lower letter words. It should not consider any symbols. It should not consider capital letters. It should not use anything. Okay, other than small letters, it should not take any input. And without using any string handling functions, without using any conditional statements, within order of 1, if you have to do. Okay, in that kind of situation, I will write here A to Z. Okay. So here what will happen? So hello. I'm getting as it is. Now second test case. First test case, let's check here. Hello. Am I getting first capital letters? No. So first test case has been satisfied, right? Here if you observe, the first test case has been satisfied because only small letters has to be considered. It should ignore capital letters. So it has satisfied my first test case. So this is done. So my second test case. So even if I'm giving numbers, it should not accept that. So some random, okay, I have to give in small letters, right? Some small letters I'm giving, and here I'm giving some numericals against small letters. So only Small letters that too big, which are occurring before numerical part, they are going to get considered. So this is also done. And third test case, if I'm using any sort of symbol, okay, for suppose if I'm directly giving, okay, some people may think, what if I give directly? So if I'm giving some symbols directly, even that it has to be ignored. Okay, we'll use, right? Yeah. So you may think why this power is coming. So whatever I want, okay, A to Z and or whatever the input I want, I'm just specifying that. Okay. For suppose if I want to give the input something like this, small letters or numbers. Okay. If you are giving directly, okay, if you are writing in this way, what will happen? Okay, if you're writing in this way, what will happen here? If you're writing in this way, first it will take only small letters and power symbol. It will ignore. Okay, this is one case. After this, only small letters in this. Okay. My second question is that I should take either numbers or else small letters. Other than numbers and small letters, it should not accept any input. So in that kind of situation, what do I do? Percentile. So I'll keep here A to Z or 0 to 9. Okay. Yeah. Now let's see. Am I getting right? So I'm able to take either small letters or else I'm able to take only numericals. Means either numbers, numericals, or both combined if I want to take, I can take. Why that? Oh, just a second. Just a second, guys. It was stuck. Wait a second. Okay. Yeah. So here what I'm doing? So here I'm giving small letters. Here I'm giving numbers. Again small letters. Again numbers. Still I'm able to get. But if I'm giving any space, it will accept no. Because space and this space we have not mentioned. Right? We haven't mentioned the space. Okay? No space. But if I want to take the input in such a way, no space here. If I want to take along with the space, so I can mention in this way. I can write one more condition in this way. So percentile subscripts A to Z space, okay, or 0 to 9. And yeah. Now what will happen? So space, numbers, again alphabets, numbers, again some alphabets. Okay, it will work. But if I'm giving a new line as an input character, it will not accept. Okay. Yeah. So there are many things in this way which we can discuss, or else we can one more interesting thing is that scanner. So now if I want to count the sentence number of characters in a sentence in order of one. So other than new line, okay, other than new line, okay, percentile n, okay, AR. So in order to store this number of characters, in order to store the number of characters, then I will be using address of I, right? So here if I'm giving hello world, hi, some. So total how many number of characters did I give? 30. So basically, what will happen whenever I'm using percentile n, the number of characters it is going to read will be stored in this format specifier. In this not format specifier, in this variable I. Okay, so percentile n means it will store the values inside this. Okay, it will read the number of characters which we are giving as an input, and it will initialize to this variable I, and while printing we can print the character. So what is the I value means total how many we gave? So for this, do we require now? You can write in order of one, right? Is there any requirement to write using a loop? No. Loops are not required in order to find the length of the string. Or else string handling functions are also not required. Directly you can write it. Okay. So without using string handling function, finding out the length of the string. Now, one more interesting fact. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is one more part. And after that, if I want to take two strings as an input, so B of some 200 I'm giving. If I want to take two strings as the input, okay, okay, taking two string inputs at runtime. Okay, taking two string inputs at runtime is the second question, which most often people will fail. So in most of the compiler, gets has been removed. Okay, gets we cannot use gets without using gets. Okay, without using gets. Using gets, we have to write. Okay. So most of the people, if it doesn't know that, it's fine. Okay. So without using gets, okay, taking two strings. Okay. So in generally, what will happen if I'm going to take percentile other than new line, I will take the input here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you may get it out. Here I'm not keeping format specify yes here. Means S I'm not using. So isn't it is it not an error is the next question you may get in your mind, but no, it is optional. You may specify it, you may not specify it, it doesn't affect your code. Directly also you can write without using S. Okay. And here So again, here if I'm writing one more thing, percentile other than then, if I wanted to take two sentences as the input, so basically what will happen? It will take only one sentence. Okay, printer. Okay, A percentile S, new line. B percentile S. So ARR. Right? So here ARR, comma B. So now if you execute the code, what is our general expected output? Two different sentences, right? Okay. So I'll write the test cases, then we will check whether we are getting according to our expected output or not. Okay, first. So if I'm giving first input, I want to give here how are you? Okay, how are you? And second input I want to give it as I'm you. Right? So output has to be same. The output has to reflect in the same, the way we are writing in the same way it has to be reflected. Okay, so this is my expected input, this is the input, and this is what my expected output is. Okay, so here what do I do? So I will write how are. So am I getting any output here? Am I getting my expected output over here? Is that is taking second string? Second string is being ignored. Why? Because whenever I'm giving how are you, okay, after question mark, I'm going to the new line. We will go to the new line. So new line means it is an escape character, right? So after how are you, we will go to the new line. So new line means it is an escape character. At runtime, we are giving an escape character at runtime. But according to the given condition, other than new line, according to the condition, whatever we have specified in the subscript, what is the condition that we have specified in the subscripts over here? Other than new line, whatever the input you are giving to the string, whatever the characters you want to give other than new line, that has to be considered. Right? So however you are giving, the next input is new line. So this ARR will ignore, means first string will ignore this new line. So this new line, it will go to the second string. Even in B string, here we have written the condition other than new line. So what will happen? Will it accept that? No. So that is the reason we are not getting output over here. So if we want to make it, if we want to give two sentences over here, so we can use one more. What is that? Percentile asterisk C. So percentile asterisk C means it will read the character and it will ignore it, right? So it will read the character at the same time it is going to get ignored. So here what do I do? Other than new line, whatever input you are giving, it will be taken. But once if you are giving a new line, what has to happen? It has to be ignored. So here I will write percentile asterisk C. So it will read the sentence as the input, it will read, it will understand, but whenever it is encountering with new line escape character, it is going to ignore it. Okay. So now if I run the code, so how are you? So here I'm good. So am I getting my expected output here? So here, how are you? I'm good. So two different strings without using gets directly we are able to take it. Okay. Or you may think that, okay, is there any requirement to write over here itself? Means no, you can write wherever you want. Either you can write here, but then remember, so where you are in giving, either you can write in here or else you can represent that over here. I'm sorry, here. Because it has to be ignored the second string B now. So However, new line will be ignored by ARR. So it should be accepted by second string. So second string should not accept. So for that reason, so in order to ignore that, either you can write even in second scanf statement also. In both the ways, it is going to work. Now, hello. Okay. So welcome to byteXL. Okay. And second string, what do I give? Are you enjoying strings? So we are getting right. Obviously, we are in. So strings is the beautiful concept that everyone will enjoy for sure. Right? So are we getting our expected output? So either you can write at the end or else at the front. Okay? Because new line will be read here itself. If you're writing somewhere else other than these two parts, okay, other than these two, in that case, obviously what will happen? It will not work. Okay? And yeah, if I want to even print the length of the string, okay, if I want to print the length of the string as well here, something like this 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, from here I'm going to consider. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here I have to get the output as 8. So if I want to write in that way, so here I will be using format specifier n. So this n, whatever the value you are giving n, so it will read the number of characters. And it has to be stored at whatever the number of characters which we are giving as the input, it has to be read and it has to be stored in some variable. So here I'm going to use format specifier I. So now here I will keep arrow I and percentile D. And here, if I'm going to give I, so yeah, now what will happen? We are going to get our expected output. So how are you? And then I'm good. That's it, right? Did I give any full stop? Yeah, I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Yeah, as we are giving new line also, right? Though new line is not stored. Okay, though new line is not stored in ARR, but new line we are giving as the input. So from since new line it is going to consider, we are going to get 9 here. Okay, here same thing if I want to repeat. So here also I can write percentile n, and here I'll use address of I. Okay, I will take one more variable because it will be overridden. So here I'll take k and here I'll use k. And yeah. Percentile D. So hello. And how are you? And yeah. Right, how are you? So directly we can get. So this is the most important points. Okay, while taking input and output is the most important point that one has to understand. Okay, before going to start the strings. And guys, if you have any doubts, right, you can ping that in the live chat. Okay, not an issue. Any concept that need to be explained again, or else anything that you want to be explained, that also you keep in our chat box. Okay. So now we will do something new over here. One more interesting thing. Okay, so we'll do some string handling functions and we'll try to do that without using string handling function. And there are still some amazing facts on strings which you doesn't know. So that will be carried forward into the next class. Some amazing concepts of that. Okay. So that we'll discuss in next session. But now we will discuss some more interesting points as well. Okay. So with using string handling function and without using string handling function, how to do, we will see. Okay. So here I will be including my string header file. Okay. Yeah. So however we have learned string length. Okay. So string length, how many ways we can write without you with and without we have seen. We can alternative is we can write either using percentile and we can use, right, or else we can use size of we can't use at runtime, and using loops you can write. Okay, two ways. If I have to copy, okay, so something like this. So again I'll write a test case here. Okay, test case. Okay, so here I'm going to give an input. I'll give a hello. So in this, I'm just specifying for your understanding purpose. I'm giving. Okay, I'll write directly. Hello world. The output has to be string 1 hello world. Okay, and string 2 also it has to be something like this, hello world. So my expected output is in this way. If I'm giving one input to string 1, okay, this has to be copied to the string 2 as well. Okay, so as we know, so I'm going to declare two strings over here. String 1 of some 100 as the size. At the same time, string 2, here I'm going to take 100. And in order to initialize, okay, I'm taking 5. So directly, if I want to write in that way, means if I want to copy, how do I write? Directly printed string copy. Okay. Right. Sorry. One has to be copied into 2, right? One has to be copied to 2. So before that, scanf. Okay. So yeah. Are we getting? So as of now, I'll mention here string 1 and here string 2. Okay. Just a second. Yeah, so here I'm going to give hello world. Okay, so string 1 hello world, string 2 hello. So as you can observe here, the first string whatever we are giving that has been copied to it. So this is using string handling function. So now I want to do that without using string handling function. Okay, character by character, each and every individual character has to be initialized to string 2. Okay, I cannot directly keep. So directly I cannot keep like this. str equal to str1. Can we keep this? No, it will be an error we're trying to do. Okay, it won't. You cannot initialize one string to another string directly. So you have to initialize because what is it is in terms of 1D, right? So 1D means what here? Collection of 1D means it is a string, right? So 1D array. So collection of characters. So character by character, it has to be initialized to the next string. So for that reason, here I will be using for loop. So for I equals to 0 and it has to iterate, right? So string 1 of I. So till what situation means till which string it has to means till the last character it has to iterate. So how does a string will end? A string will always end with the null character, right? So that's the reason not equals to null and plus plus. So here I'm taking, so character by character, it has to be initialized. So string 2 of I equals to string 1 of I. So what will happen? So character by character. So if I'm taking this, suppose I'm taking hello world. Okay, what is the index values of this? You are going to enter 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so whatever the character is there in 0th value, so it will be initialized. So here I will take, I'm just explaining here directly. Okay. So same thing, in whatever the character which is present in 0th index of string 1, it will be initialized to the 0th index in string 2. Again after that, E. Okay, E. Like that, this entire loop will keep on iterating till it encounters with null character. Okay, so like that initialization will happen. So but still it is not going to work because every string. So the thing is that, okay, first let me show why it will not work, and then I will explain. Okay, hello world. Oh my god, it worked. But the thing is that according to the rule, okay, now it might have worked, but accordingly, it should not work actually because till 10 it is D. So 11th will be null character because every string has to end with a null character. So at the end, okay, you should initialize string 2 with null character. The last updated value has to be initialized with null character. So in most of the compilers, it will not work. And this it might have worked, but in most of the compilers, it will not work in exams. So never forget to initialize and never forget to end a string with null character. If you're not going to end a string with null character, in that kind of situation, it is not going to give you any output. Now, if you execute, you are going to get your expected output. So, hey, hi, got it? Something like this. So this is quite mandatory. Okay, in this compiler, it became a magic. But the thing is that always you need to end any string with null character because in this loop it will be iterating from starting from 0th index. It will travel till 10th index. So the 11th index is not going to get initialized because it is a null. Okay. According to the rule, always a string has to end with a null character. So that is the reason you have to initialize. And if not in your exams, you may get any errors. Okay, runtime errors you will get, most probably not compile time errors. Yeah, I guess everyone are clear till now. Okay, clear till here. Okay, so guys, in next week's session with some more interesting facts and some more shortcuts. Okay, we will be having the session. So I hope everyone will join. You will be quite interested in that as well. Okay, so now, so every Thursday, 7 to 8:30, we will be having C classes on strings. Okay, and if you want to bring up with some more concepts, if you are interested to listen few more concepts, okay, you please put a message in live chat. Okay, chat box is there, comment box. You can comment in that. You can Okay, and if you feel this is useful, share it with your friends. Okay, and like, share, and subscribe our channel. Okay, that is a common thing that you will listen, but I promise you that whatever the sessions we are going to take in our channel, right, it is completely competitive program oriented only. Okay, so in company specific, what sort of questions will be there? Okay, how we have to answer? What are the techniques we can use? With the best time complexity, how we can write. So our codings and our sessions will be in that point of view, in that level. Okay, and in the description, you will get byteXL LinkedIn profile where we are conducting contests. Okay, so every week you will be having a contest on coding only. So top 10 or top 20 winners, okay, will be awarded with some Amazon gift vouchers. Okay, that is for sure. Top 20. Okay, we are not even picking up like one or two people or one, two, three people. We are picking up in bulk amount only, so everyone can try, and that too in coding. Okay, so follow our LinkedIn profile where you will be able to participate in contest, coding contest, right? And even my profile is there. If you have any doubt, you can post it over there. And if you are interested in upcoming sessions, what are the topics you are interested to, you want to listen or hear, that also you can specify over there. Okay. Any doubts? So don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn page, because there only you'll get most of the updates. That is for sure. byteXL. Yeah, thank you. And I hope everyone have enjoyed the session. Thank you. Thanks a lot.